children of the night.
Kill you!
I've just seen death.
Do you know what the most frightening thing in the world is?
Oh, what happened to the video? Did it skip for a second?
I think so.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was too live.
It's way too live for this shit. Oh, man. I was trying to find a clip. Did you see the clip of Katy Perry dancing at her latest tour?
Yeah,
Dude, I was going to play it for you to get a reaction, but if you've already seen it, it's cool.
She looks like she's giving it her all.
I like the fucking the wrestling move, just pointing to her vagina.
It's like having
she does this thing.
So like, have you seen my crotch?
Have you seen this lately? It was in space.
Like I could hold babies, and I also have an ass when she turned around.
I'm a woman. I have a womb.
But it almost looked like like the shit like before the Power Rangers will transform.
Oh yeah.
she wasn't really dancing, really. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Red Ranger, go!
Yeah, like some weird shit.
Oh fuck, we haven't been live in a long time.
That's true.
Yeah, I went live because Henry said he was going to join and talk to us while we are doing it, but he ain't here yet. Thanks a lot, Henry. Now I'm going to be nervous the entire time because of it.
You're gonna be sweating.
Yeah. So, man, it's been a while since we've had a show. The last show was with Yessie with their ghost stories, which was actually did really well. A lot of people liked it. We got to have her on again.
I thought it was pretty good.
Oh yeah, it was good. She had some great stories. We have to have her back on and maybe talk about music conspiracy theories or something.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about when the magic of filmmaking goes wrong. So currently the movie industry has a whole bunch of safeguard after safeguard in place to protect the crew while on set. However, it wasn't always this way. For decades, Hollywood was sort of playing it fast and loose with regulations and safety protocols. And while this may have created some truly unique moments in film, it also contributed to the needless deaths of hundreds throughout the last century.
Yeah, that sucks.
So we're going to run down some of the deadliest movies ever filmed. Now, I focused on movies that had more than one death because, like, obviously you could say The Crow or that recent one, Rust, where Alec Baldwin, that accident with the gun.
Yeah.
Some people don't say it was an accident. Any of those one-off deaths. There was the girl that got hit by the train for that movie Midnight Rider about the Allman Brothers. And then they ended up scrapping the movie. So there's a lot of those little things that I could have mentioned, but it would just make the show way too long. So I'm gonna focus on the big ones, you know.
So you didn't do anything that was almost a movie and then became a movie due to like some tragedies?
No, all of these were released.
Okay.
Yeah, all of them were released. So the first one I'm gonna cover is a movie called Noah's Ark, and this is from 1928. I'm assuming you haven't seen this before?
No.
Noah's Ark. Okay. I haven't seen it either. It's one of the early films. So in 1928, Warner Brothers released Noah's Ark. It was an epic retelling of the Bible story. And it was also an early talkie, which is, you know, what they called the early sound movies where people actually had like dialogue. It wasn't just like pictures of people talking on screen, you know?
It wasn't walking.
What's that?
I said it wasn't walking.
It wasn't walkie. It was a talkie. It was originally planned to be a silent film, but it became apparent pretty quickly that talkies were the new thing, and so they had to modify everything. The production of the movie was massive. They had over 7,500 extras during filming, and since its release, it became notorious for its dangerous and deadly set pieces. Back in the day, the movies used to just get like thousands of extras, like Cecil B. DeMille and all of his movies. It was just like, as far as the eye can see, there's extras because they're probably getting paid like $1 or $2 a day or something. It's during the Depression. Everyone was just lining up, just like, get me in the pictures. A great movie that covers some of that stuff is Mank. Have you ever seen Mank?
No.
It's on Netflix. It's about Herman Mankiewicz, who wrote Citizen Kane. But it shows those early movie studio days where like people were just crowded at the gates trying to get in. So one of the extras in the film was none other than John Wayne, who we will talk about later in the show, around the end of the show. Okay. In those days, it's doubtful that the studios were spending the money to make sure their extras were strong swimmers or had any stunt work backgrounds. People were just anxious to get their foot in the door, and they snapped at the chance to be in this epic saga. Of course, you can't have a Noah's Ark movie without having a climactic flooding scene. And to accomplish this, director Michael Curtiz had to dump an estimated 600,000 gallons of water on the extras as they tried to cling to rocks and each other to stay afloat. So here's a... So it still has some of that silent film look to it, where they have the dialogue up on the screen.
Oh.
But this is crazy. They got live animals. They got all those extras in the background. It's pretty amazing special effects for the time.
Yeah.
But look at this water, dude.
Damn.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, there was no need to be acting in that shit.
No, you're not acting.
You're not acting.
Good point.
Cling for your life. All right.
Yeah, you want to act scared in this scene.
I got you.
Yeah, so there's an example of that. Now, it didn't go as planned. Okay, so during the major flood scenes, many of the extras suffered like broken ribs, broken legs. One of the extras hurt their leg so bad that it had to be amputated. And on top of that, 3 extras drowned. They died during all that stuff. John Wayne himself said that he was almost killed during the filming, which we were almost saved. I don't want... Yeah. Okay. Let's just say it. John Wayne was a dick, okay? Him and Ronald Reagan are pretty much responsible for where we're at today with the government and all that. There's a great book.
He was like
What's
the original Elon Musk.
He was all right, yeah. I mean, he wasn't giving any my heart goes out to you salutes or anything like that, but he did a lot of early stuff for the religious right, like doing videos for them, and there was a big force that he sort of propelled that became the whole what we know today as the religious right. So, and he also trafficked a 16-year-old girl from Mexico so he could have sex with her.
Yeah, maybe he's responsible for that too. It seems like it might still be going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because of this tragedy, many new regulations were implemented for scenes such as this. And you would hope that because of these regulations, that would have been the end to tragedies on set, but you would be wrong. So, just a few years later, there's a movie called The Viking, 1931. So here's a poster from The Viking.
The Viking.
Yeah. Another early movie. What's that?
Is this another Warner Brothers movie? Do we know?
It was a Newfoundland American film.
Okay.
I don't have it in front of me who the actual release was, but Warner Brothers has been responsible for a lot of bad things.
Because we're starting off with one Warner Brothers. I want to see how often it comes up.
Yeah. I could probably get that for you, that information. Okay. So, originally titled White Thunder, The Viking was a Newfoundland American film production that chronicled seal hunting. Yeah, it's very strange. Specifically, it's about two rival seal hunters and a love triangle with one of the sealer's girlfriends, Mary Jo. An American producer, Varric Frizzle, made a few short films. All of them were seal hunting based, and they were popular enough for him to expand his vision into a feature-length film, which then became The Viking. Frizzle hired director George Melford, who had experience filming in Canada and in cold areas, so it seemed like a perfect fit. By 1930, most of the filming had been completed on The Viking, and Frizzle had a sort of a test screening, a preliminary screening, and he realized after it was done, the movie needed more footage of ice flows around Labrador. That's an area around Newfoundland. So they had to go back on location and they had to film these ice flows, which is basically what it sounds like. It's a bunch of footage of ice going along the water, and that whole that like massive flow that you see of ice chunks. Yeah. And he gathered a crew. They set off on the SS Viking, which was the same ship used in the movie. The Viking was going out on a seal hunting trip, so the film crew just tagged along. Now, what a lot of people don't know is these ships would carry explosives just in case they got caught in the ice. So it's an easy way to break up the ice. If your ship gets stuck, you just put some gunpowder or whatever you're using to blow cracks in it and break through. However, it is thought that somehow, maybe due to mishandling, that the stores of explosives caught fire. And on March 15th, 1931, around 9 p.m., the Viking exploded. And the explosion was so loud you could hear it from miles away. 27 people, including the producer, Varric Frizzle himself, died. Now, the messed up part about this, the movie was released and people hated it. Which is something that keeps coming up with these movies that had tragedies on set. They're always like critically panned. They're almost never successes. It's not because of the tragedy itself. It's just like, I don't know if it's just all around general bad production or not taking precautions or maybe just amateurish. Yeah. But it's just you see it over and over again. These films are just like low ratings. People aren't coming to them, low box office records. A lot of these early films, these pre-code films as they call it, a lot of these things had accidents on set. They just didn't regulate things back then. It was sort of like the Wild West of movie production.
And it seems like maybe if you had the idea, or I guess the money, these two people seem that they're trying to go pretty extreme somehow. Like,
yeah, well, yeah, exactly, because everyone was trying to push the envelope of like epic scale.
Yeah.
The movie industry was fairly new, and it's like everything is a one-up on the last person. Like, well, they had an elephant on set. Well, we're gonna have fucking elephants and giraffes, and we're gonna have explosions and floods. So how about that?
Yeah, like that.
So now, now we would just use CGI or whatever. Back in the day, they actually had to do this shit. Which, another great movie, Babylon. Have you seen Babylon? With Brad Pitt?
Yes, I have seen it.
Okay. That's a movie that got panned as well. I love that movie. I think it's a great example of like how crazy the early film industry was. There's even like a huge epic scene where Brad Pitt's supposed to be filming a battle scene. Like guys are actually getting stabbed in the chest on set, and everyone's drunk, shit's catching on fire, shit's exploding. It's great. Everyone's doing drugs. Yeah, it's not that accidents don't happen. It was just a lot more prevalent back in the day.
Yeah, and it seemed a lot more fatal too, right? Like
a lot more fatal. Yeah,
like maybe less injuries, so more fucking fatal. So.
yeah. I'm gonna try to find a clip here of the Viking. It looks a bit boring.
That shit's pretty boring.
You wouldn't watch this? You know, it's a bit hard to watch these old movies. For the simple, so there's some of the eyes flows that they filmed.
Yeah, okay.
Plus, it's hard to watch these old films because all the audio is like, "Oh, it's a shiny kind of
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of yelling too.
A lot of yelling. Plus, it's like making heroes out of seal hunters. If anyone's ever watched seal hunting footage, it's the most fucking heartbreaking thing to watch.
I somehow thought you were gonna report on the fucking. They started killing seals for real. I'm like, oh man.
Oh shit! You know what? They might have. I don't know. I haven't watched the movie, but
they probably did. When they find like if they found any, I'm sure they were like, "Fuck it," you know.
Well, it's an actual seal hunting ship, so it wouldn't surprise
That's
me
true.
if they found seals on the way. If they just
use maybe use the footage too, like
yeah,
other hunters.
So here they are on a hunt. Oh god, I hope they don't.
No, I don't want to see.
So you know what? Oh shit, no, I'm skipping ahead. All right,
it's a baby seal too.
let's be real. All seals look like baby seals. They're all adorable.
They're all adorable, but they're all still furry. Like
yeah,
you know
what's crazy is like the Italians in the 70s had no problem killing animals on film as part of their production, and they would show it in the movie, like Cannibal Holocaust. There's a famous scene where they kill a turtle and eat it. There's a movie called Beaks, I think, from Italy from the 70s, where like people are actually shooting birds on screen and like they're getting torn apart. Like that's the biggest problem I have with Italy. It's Italian horror movies in the 70s and 80s. It's just like they just massacred all sorts of animals. Yeah.
That's fucking sucks.
Yeah, the last movie I saw where I had to where they actually did that was Apocalypse Now. There's a scene where they kill a cow for real on screen. They cut its head off. And fuck man, that made me weak in the knees to watch it. Yeah. I just can't I can't handle animals getting hurt. You know, it's too much.
So, and I think anybody that tries to defend it, they're like, well, you know, that happens all the time or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's
it didn't need to happen. You made it happen.
Yeah. Other stuff that does happen like that all the time, it happens. But you know, to make a movie, you made it happen.
Yeah, you made it happen. Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. So, hello? Anyways.
Hello, am I coming through?
Hello?
Are you there? Hello,
who is
your
this?
favorite president, Donald J. Trump.
The fuck, really?
Of course it is. Listen, I love Macabrecast. I've been a listener for a long time. And listen, I don't listen to many things, but I do listen to Macabrecast.
Macabrecast.
And is my favorite Hispanic there? Gabriel, are you there?
Yeah, what's
There's my favorite Hispanic. How you doing, buddy?
I've been better. You know, the past 100 days I've been pretty rough.
A lot of bad things about me lately. A lot of things,
true, Gabriel.
Frankly, untrue things and terrible things.
Well, stop me when I'm lying, man.
I'm getting a bit sick of it. I just got to say, it's very trashy. But hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a deal. Macabrecast now has tariffs. I'm putting tariffs on Macabrecast. 75% tariffs.
But we don't import or export anything. We're free.
I'm just kidding. I'm not doing it. Well, maybe I am. Yes, the tariffs are back. Oh, no, they're not. Never mind. Or maybe not. Anyways, I gotta go. A lot of important things to do. A lot of
I'm
strong
sure, yeah.
men to talk to, crying men, tears in their eyes. They
Strong
say,
men.
Of
sir,
course.
we've never seen
We've
a
never
better
seen a
president
better
than
president.
you.
Yeah, I've heard
And,
you say that
know,
before.
God bless America. I'm a Christian.
No, you're not.
I'm definitely a Christian. I'm not faking it.
You're definitely faking it.
All right, I'll talk to you later, Macabrecast.
Macabrecast.
He's definitely
The president just
faking
call in?
it. I think he follows me on Instagram.
That might be a problem for you, dude. The way they're throwing people in jail willy-nilly for saying something bad about Trump.
I'm trying to have some witnesses before.
Well, you heard him threaten you.
Did he threaten? He was putting tariffs on us.
Yeah, that's the way he threatens people. He puts tariffs on them.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. What the fuck?
He does do everything except run the country.
I didn't even open the phone lines. He just came through on his own. I guess that's a presidential thing you can do, but that was a bit weird.
You see sliding through dimensions in the comment?
Oh, no, I haven't. Are they in the comments?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. He does everything except run the country. I do a lot of good things. A lot of people are saying, sir, you're the best at doing things. That almost sounds like the phone call.
Remember
that we just had.
Yes, sorry. We should talk about this for that line. But did you hear when he said that that they are meeting with China to
yeah,
the negotiations? Like who's they? He's like they.
They are.
They told me
us and them together.
Who the fuck?
We're all good friends. I didn't mean any of the things I said before. So we're gonna go on to the next film. I just can't. Trump cannot control this episode anymore.
I don't think he should.
Yeah. So the next movie we're gonna cover, I'm gonna share the trailer here first for you.
John Landis, American Werewolf in London. Steven Spielberg, Joe Dante, George Miller. These acclaimed directors take you to another dimension. A journey into a wondrous land whose only boundaries are your imagination. Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, so the Twilight Zone, 1983. I was about to say 1938. It probably would have made more sense if it was in 1938. What happened on set? This is one of the more famous examples of a tragedy on set. Twilight Zone, the movie, of course, is based on a hugely popular TV show from the 1950s, hosted by the amazing Rod Serling. Did you ever watch that when you were a kid?
Yeah, I watched some of that.
Okay. Yeah, I used to watch it all the time after school. It was like one of my favorite shows. I didn't watch the new season of it, the one that Jordan Peele had done. I don't know if you saw any of it, but I heard it was pretty bad. It was just like they were trying to go way too like I don't want to say the word woke, but it's like it was all based on that kind of stuff. So like there's a level I don't mind about that, but when it gets to the point you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I like that he does like scary movies and stuff, but I can't say I'm a big fan. I was more interested in that chimp situation from that movie with the cloud.
Oh, yeah. What was the name of that movie?
I thought it was gonna be like fucking crazy chimp related. I was gonna be like, God damn, it's gonna be sick, like crazy.
I know. I love chimp movies.
And then it was something else. So like,
yeah. I actually like that movie a lot. The movie that I can't remember the name of right now. I love that movie that I can't remember anything about. It's gonna bother me until I figure it out. Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nope. So, in the early 80s, one of the biggest directors in the world, Steven Spielberg, decided to gather some of his director buddies to create an anthology movie. Some people may not know what that is. It's basically a movie that's comprised of several standalone segments. Creep Show, any of those movies where it's just like 15 minutes here, 20 minutes here, and it's all separate things. That sort of have a running theme. Like, obviously, this is paranormal, weird stuff happening.
Yeah.
So Spielberg got, you saw from the trailer, he got George Miller, director of Mad Max, Joe Dante, who directed Gremlins and The Burbs, and John Landis, who had directed many classic movies, including The Blues Brothers, Animal House, American Werewolf in London. I mean, great films. It had a great cast, including Dan Aykroyd, Albert Brooks, John Lithgow, and Vic Morrow. Vic Morrow starred in a segment directed by Landis titled Time Out. Now, Time Out is basically a morality tale that's roughly based on another Twilight Zone old episode called A Quality of Mercy. And in the segment, Vic Morrow plays Bill Connor, a man who is very bitter about not getting a job promotion because it went to another man, a Jewish man named Goldberg, got it instead. So he goes out drinking with his friends, and he starts blaming all the world's problems on minorities, blacks, Asians, Jewish people. And a black man overhears him and confronts him. Bill leaves the bar and is suddenly in Nazi-occupied France in World War II. He's chased down and shot at by Nazis, by SS soldiers. And at one point, he falls through a window, and he ends up in rural Alabama in like the 1960s, being chased by a group of Ku Klux Klan. And as it goes along, he also ends up in Vietnam, where American soldiers start firing at him, believing that he's a Viet Cong soldier. Now, at the end of it, he ends up back in World War II and inside a concentration camp. And at the end, in the distance, he sees his friends at the bar, and he tries like calling to them, but they can't hear him. So he's just trapped in this concentration camp. Now, have you seen the Twilight Zone movie at all?
No, I never seen
it. Okay. Yeah, I actually haven't seen the full thing, but I've seen this segment. Now, the original segment was going to be much different and a lot longer. The story, once he gets to Vietnam, was that he was going to save 2 Vietnamese children that were left behind after an attack by American forces. He would grab the kids, and the scene called for a helicopter to start shooting at them as they fled. This wasn't how the script originally was. Warner Brothers, ding, 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 felt that the character was not sympathetic enough. So they wanted something to show that he was capable of compassion and love. So Landis went back in. He changed the script to include a scene where these kids are being saved. Now, Landis hired a little girl named Micah Din Lee and a little boy named Renee Shin Lee. Micah was 7, and Renee Shin Lee Chen was 6. So I'm going to pull up a picture of these kids. So the deal was all done under the table with cash with the parents of these kids, because Landis had to shoot the scene at night, and child labor laws say that kids cannot work at night. The parents were told that the shoot was going to be entirely safe, and they wouldn't be around explosions or anything dangerous, which was a huge fucking lie.
Fuck.
Yeah, the parents, would, however, be present during the filming, so the parents would be there. The associate producer, George Fossley Jr., warned the parents not to tell firefighters that were on set that the kids were there and part of the scene. So, of course, the parents, being foreign, they're not wanting to make a fuss. They just want to try to get their kids' foot in the door of Hollywood. They went along with everything. However, it became pretty clear as soon as they started filming that the helicopter pilot was going to have trouble navigating the explosions around him because it called for him to be pretty low. And in prior takes, the pilot had told the pyrotechnics crew that he couldn't get as low as they wanted because the water coming up from the explosions in the pond were getting too close to his rotor, and that could screw up everything. So
when this guy was saving him, he was saving him in a helicopter.
No. So he was running through a village, and he sees the kids. He grabs the kids. He starts running away, a kid in each arm, running through this like swampy pond sort of thing. And a helicopter comes up behind them and starts shooting at them. So it's he's running away from the helicopter. The crew told the pilot, okay, we'll hold back on the explosions if you can get lower. However, the pyro crew didn't realize that there was going to be two explosions that were so close together and near the helicopter. How they didn't know, who fucking knows? It seems like they should be keeping track of that stuff.
Yeah.
So explosion goes off. Debris gets stuck in the rotor just as Vic Morrow was carrying the two little kids in the water below. The pilot lost control. The helicopter starts to list, and then it drops. The helicopter blade struck Morrow and Lee, the little girl, decapitating them both instantly.
Fuck.
The boy, Maiko, was crushed by the struts of the aircraft. Maiko also died instantly. The fallout from this was massive. Of course, the family sued both John Landis and Spielberg. Now, Henry had told me that Spielberg had left the country after this happened. However, I cannot find anything that verifies that. It seems to be a rumor that sort of goes along with it that's been going for all these years, that he sort of fled and was trying to escape the whole scene, but I can't really find anything that verifies that. So if anyone has any information of that being true, feel free to get in contact with us or send me an email, macabrecastshow@gmail.com. I am anxious to find out if that's actually true or not. As a result, the second assistant director, Andy House, had his name removed from the credits and replaced with the pseudonym Alan Smithy. I sort of skipped ahead here. The accident led to civil and criminal action against the filmmakers, which lasted nearly a decade. Landis, Fossley, and production manager Dan Allingham and pilot Dorsey Wingo and explosives specialist Paul Stewart were all tried and acquitted on charges of manslaughter in a 9-month trial from 1986 to 1987. So they all got off.
Damn.
Yeah. So, of course, the family sued. They settled out of court. We don't know exactly what happened. I'm assuming that the parents got quite a bit of money because they should. I mean, they should have gotten every penny from that. As a result of the accident, second assistant director Andy House had his name removed from the credits and replaced with the pseudonym Alan Smithy. So whenever you see Alan Smithy as the producer or director, it means that the person was so upset by this production or so disgusted by it or just didn't want their name connected, so they used the name Alan Smithy. You see it over and over with bad movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Try to look out for it next time you're watching a movie. If it comes up Alan Smith, you're probably in for a shit show.
So it could be different directors or whatever, but they just changed it.
Yeah, they all use Alan Smithy. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting how I don't know how that got started, but basically it's a director that doesn't I hope a director actually named Alan Smithy never exists, because he's going to have a fucking tough time.
Yeah.
Now, the accident also resulted in the establishment of the Motion Picture and Entertainment Unit within CAL FIRE office of the State Fire Marshal, so they could enforce fire safety regulations and requirements in the entertainment industry. Actually, when my brother was a paramedic in California, I remember he used to go to film sets sometimes to stand by. They really upped like the safety regulations after this thing. That's why you see such huge like even when they're filming little things, you see huge crowds of people around, like doing things, keeping regulations safe. But stuff still happens, like the Rust movie.
Yeah.
You know, those smaller productions. You know, all it takes is one bad moment, one little slip up, and someone's dead. Spielberg and Landis separated all partnerships after this, and they never spoke to each other again. Landis's career took a big dive after that. Like, his movies never really recovered. Sliding Through Dimensions, they said, I wonder, wouldn't be surprised if they had everyone sign an NDA so no one could talk about it. Yeah, doesn't really matter. The story got out either way. It was such a big story, but I'm sure the parents were told as part of the settlement, like, yeah, you're not allowed to talk about this.
Don't go to the fucking news or anything like that.
Yeah. John Landis showed up at all the funerals, even for the kids. He wasn't invited, but he showed up, which, and at one of them, he gave a talk, and it was sort of a douchebag thing to, like, I don't know how I feel about that, man. Because he did some real scumbaggy things during that production. Apparently, he used live ammunition in one part so he could get shots of foliage being shot and looking real. So they just had someone actually firing a gun on set, which you don't do at all. And like George Miller was so disgusted at the entire production of it that he left totally, and Joe Dante had to take over his segment and like finish up editing on his stuff and all that production. It sullied John Landis's name after that, as it should have. And yeah, he never fully recovered from it. So
yeah, that fucking sucks right there.
It sucks, yeah. Now, of course, you can find the footage of the accident all over the place if you really want to see it, but you're going to see 3 people die. It's not detailed or anything, but you see them a group of 3 people in the water, and then you see a helicopter come down on them, and it's fucking horrific. I can't imagine the parents being on set too for that.
Yeah, dude.
That must have been just like, I mean, your whole life falls apart, and you're like watching it right in front of you.
And then after that, I'm sure they regret, like, damn, like, for what, you know, like what amount of money were they getting, you know, before the song?
That is a good question. I didn't even look that up of what they were being paid to have their kid. I'll try to find that.
Like, it'll probably, like, you go to a couple $100 or maybe less, right?
Yeah, maybe, it might have been a little more than that. But still, it's like, it's a penance of amount of money to compare to what actually happened. I mean, I hope they got millions and millions of dollars from the settlement. Not that it makes the deaths of their kids any easier, but and I feel bad that they were foreigners and like felt the need to like stay quiet this whole time, like during production, like they couldn't talk to anyone and tell them like, we're worried about our kids. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy story. So the last movie we're going to cover, 1956, The Conqueror. I'm going to play the trailer for you here.
That's your boy?
That's my boy. The Duke himself. Once again, another movie with a gigantic set of extras.
It's like Lord of the Rings over there.
It is just like Lord of the Rings.
She wants it too?
I guess so, dude.
You saw her eyes?
I saw that.
The unconquered woman. He took what he wanted when he wanted it. Mordecai meets his fire with ice, matches his fury with flame.
Your hatred will kindle into love.
Before that day dawns, Mom, The vultures will have feasted on your heart.
Jimmo.
That made the trailer, huh?
Yep.
Having taken your favors, I refuse the favor you seek.
Then I would reveal your betrayal to Temujin.
Everyone has great hair and perfect teeth.
I am tempted, woman.
That's
a long ass trailer, dude.
Game of Thrones. Yeah, it's a lot.
This is just as good as Game of Thrones. I dare you to
I'm
tell
sure
me
it is. Barbaric passions, is it?
You do well, Kumlik. For while I have fingers to grasp a sword and eyes to see, your treacherous head is not safe on your shoulders.
Perfect. Cut.
Or your daughter in her bed.
Great
That's
job.
A trailer. That's a trailer right there.
That's a trailer. That's the trailer.
That's it.
That's the trailer right there.
We got it. This movie already went on a little too long, dude.
Yeah, dude.
This
trailer is 3 minutes long.
You think the movie was like 3 hours?
It's made, and you got to have an epic movie, dude.
Oh,
all right, I'm fucking done with this trailer. Yeah. It's just way too long. Imagine the deadliest movie ever made that no one knew was deadly until decades later, which is strange to say, but just go with me here. Okay. So, do you know anything about this movie to begin with?
No, not at all.
Okay. 1956, The Conqueror. In the mid-50s, famed eccentric billionaire Howard Hughes put up $6 million, which is roughly 71 million today, to produce a great war epic about the Mongol horde led by none other than we used to call it Genghis Khan, but now you have to say Genghis Khan.
Okay.
Because that's the proper way to say it.
Genghis.
Yeah. So if you were casting the movie today, who do you think would be the perfect Genghis Khan? Maybe Jackie Chan or Benedict Wong from the Doctor Strange movies?
Maybe Tom Cruise.
Well, you're wrong, okay?
Oh,
Because the perfect Khan was already cast, and his name was John Wayne.
Okay.
So the next hurdle is, how do you film a Mongolian war epic in America? Well, location scouts found the perfect spot in St. George, Utah. Now, my dad used to live in... Oh, yeah, Sliding Through Dimensions says Jack Black is the perfect Genghis Khan. You might be right about that, actually. He could pull it off. Let's give it, dude! So my dad used to live in St. George, Utah. It's all red clay. It's actually a pretty good choice for a very Gobi Desert look. And they cast over 300 Native Americans to play Mongols, which is problematic within itself. They didn't use any makeup on them or anything. They're just like
that.
We have Indians here. Do you guys want to be Mongols? They're just like, what?
Do you guys want to be stars?
Yeah, you want to be stars. You want to be in the movies, kid? So, production of the film was plagued with issues from the beginning. The sets were destroyed in a flood. John Wayne would get drunk for days on end, and he looked bloated all the time.
Shit.
Yeah. Filming finally wrapped for the on-location scenes, and they had to do some extra scenes that could only be done in a studio, like, you know, the scenes where you see him inside a tent and stuff like that. That's all done in studio and around that kind of thing. So Howard Hughes paid for 60 tons of sand from St. George to be shipped out to Hollywood so they could dress the sets. I mean, he spared no expense to do this.
Yeah, that seems crazy.
Well, he's crazy. I mean, see where he ends up, then you know it's not a big deal for him to ship a bunch of dirt from across the country to film something. So the film's released, and we'll talk about the reception of the film in a second. Then in the following decades, something starts happening. People that worked on the film set start getting sick, like really sick. And of the 220 crew members, 91 of them developed cancer by 1980. 46 of them died from their illnesses. Many of them developed cancer much younger than would be expected. Now, one thing that keeps coming up, we know that smoking was much more popular in the 50s and 60s than it is now. However, many people think that there was another culprit for this widespread cancer. 2 years before they started filming, 137 miles away in the Nevada National Security Site, 11 above-ground nuclear bomb tests were held. Now, producers of the movie knew that St. George was downwind from the testing site, and they talked to the government about it. However, they were assured that by the officials that everything was completely safe to film there, so no big deal. Between 1951 and 1962, over 100 bombs were tested in the area. I don't know why we had so many bomb tests, dude. You think they would get it, like any excuse to blow up a nuclear bomb? They're like, let's do it.
Well, yeah, that fucking sucks, dude.
A lot of people in Vegas used to, they would have like parties around it because they could see the bomb. They could watch the explosions from Vegas, depending on where the testing site was. Yeah. So they gather for like cocktail parties and watch the bombs go off.
Yeah. That's just easy for me to blame, but I'd probably be right there, front row.
Oh, dude, I'd be all about it.
You know what I mean?
Shit, that was a big one.
Like you think that was big? I went to the Utah one the other day.
Yeah. Why is my skin hurting?
But they should know better.
They should know better. It became sort of a joke on the set about radiation. There's even photos, which I'll put up, of John Wayne holding a Geiger counter over a small hill of dirt. And they said that the device made so much noise that the crew thought it was broken.
There's no way that's right.
There's no way. Yeah. It's like that Chernobyl movie. It's like, it's not too bad. It's like, it only goes up. This device only goes up to like 4.
3.6 Roentgen, but that's as high as the meter. 3.6. Not great, not terrible.
I haven't seen that, but I think.
Oh, dude, I'll drop a clip in just with it's so much like this. So the 3 main stars of the film all got cancer. John Wayne died of stomach cancer in 1979. Susan Hayward died of brain cancer in 75. Pedro Armendariz, who you see in that one scene where he's talking with the lady in the tent, he was diagnosed with terminal cancer in 63. So he smuggles a gun into the hospital that he's staying at, and he shoots himself in the heart, kills himself. Doesn't want to deal with cancer. Yeah, it's crazy. Howard Hughes was so guilty about the decisions that he made on this production that he bought up as many prints of the movie as he could and spent $12 million doing it to try to keep it from the public after its release. So, like, it was released, but then he's like, oh, fuck. And he just, like, gathered up everything. Like, we're undoing this. And it was said that when Hughes started going really nuts in his final years, he would watch this movie and a couple others, like, endlessly on a loop, like, maybe to figure out where he went wrong. My guess is maybe you shouldn't have fucking shot it in a nuclear wasteland, but
like, you see your idea, that's where you were wrong.
That's where you run a whole thing. Maybe John Wayne as Genghis Khan, that was a bad idea. So the movie, when the movie was originally released, it was a giant flop. Got terrible reviews. Most of them citing bad casting choices. And this ultimately led to the demise of RKO Pictures. So that is probably the deadliest movie set ever so far.
Well, fuck, dude. That sucks for everybody involved right there.
Yeah. Now, apparently, even some of the props that were used in the movie are still radioactive. Like, if you take a Geiger counter to them, they still will set it off. Like the dresses and some of the outfits. that have gone up for auction. So
these steel tips.
Everything was just like totally zapped with radiation. You can't, you're just saturated in it. I used to have to stay in St. George with my dad all the time. And let me tell you, there's nothing good about that area. It's full of Mormons and radiation.
Bring some sand in a bottle.
I might do that next time I go. I'll get some sand for you.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's as much as they try to control these things, as we see, this kind of stuff still happens. There's still accidents on set, and people still die. It's one of the blemishes on the magic of Hollywood. But yeah, I don't think it'll ever be as worse as The Conqueror. I think I doubt there'll be that many deaths on.
You think they checked one device and they're like, that one's broken, and then they're like, that one's broken, and then the whole shipment is broken.
Oh, these are broken. How could that happen?
They're like, Johnny, did you drop the box? They're like, yeah, I dropped the box.
Oh, sorry, boss.
Yeah. They're like, fuck it, we're good.
Oh no, it's fine. There's like people glowing at night. It looks like Fallout, the game.
Yeah, what about like the Native Americans that they got? They're like, oh yeah, we
thank you for bringing that up.
We don't write that way.
Yeah,
but then they made them go there. Like, how were they surviving?
So they never followed up with the Native Americans, or maybe they couldn't find as many as they thought to see what effect that had on them, which I'm sure would have been just as disastrous. Thank you for reminding me about that. Yeah, it's one of the things that I read about is like, these poor Native Americans, they're all Navajo. And they're just like, oh, I'm sure they're fine.
Well, imagine plot twist, they healed themselves with Mother Nature.
Oh,
they never got it. They were like, yeah, we got sick and then we fixed it.
They transferred it all over to John Wayne because he was such a dick.
Maybe.
Yeah, so that's the show. Please, if anyone has any further information on anything I talked about, I would love to find out more about. If maybe I got something wrong, please let me know. Listen to all the shows on Gangline Assembly, Frank Wilker Wonder Hour, Movies as Comics. Send us an email. Send us a ghost story if you want to be on the show, or just shoot me our email, macabrecastshow@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. And Gabriel, do you want to promote any of your upcoming Instagram stories about Trump?
No, I don't know what I have coming. It always depends on Trump. I can't keep up with that fool.
Well, you've been saying a lot of trashy things about him lately. We heard it from himself, so.
Trashy?
I hope you feel bad.
That's what he does, It's not my fault they're trashy.
You see, he showed up at the Pope's funeral, not following the dress code.
Yeah, and I mean, whatever, that's the least of my worries.
Yeah, I know. As far as things go, the dictatorship is more troubling.
I don't give a fuck what he wears,
Yeah.
But, yeah, I did see that, but...
Yeah. It's all about me. Look at me, I'm in blue.
I wish I knew my username. But,
oh, shit. Oh, yeah. I wonder if I could find it here. You want me to give out your Instagram?
Yeah, give my Instagram.
Okay, hold on a second. 3_6_Gator.
Oh, okay.
So follow Gabriel and check out what he posts.
I turned into a meme page.
Yeah, it's all memes, dude.
It's all memes.
He's the meme king now.
My life is over.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.